Good afternoon. Something really quite intense when that camera just counts down those few seconds before you're about to go live. Good afternoon. Happy Friday the 13th. I have to remember where to look. I have several cameras around my computer, one on the top and one part of the computer itself. And it feels really important to recognize that today, that there are many ways to look, many ways to see ourselves, many ways to see things, many ways to connect to the symbolism of life. Now, when I first decided to do this live, I decided to do it for a few reasons. One, it's really great to share things. I really enjoy sharing things. Two, it's been a while since I've done a live, which I can feel. I can feel that in my body. Three, I just applied for a job coaching and realised actually it's exactly what I do. And I thought, well, if I've forgotten that that's what I do with the tarot, then yeah, no one else knows either. So the best way to show what I do is to get out there. I didn't realise it was Friday the 13th when I signed up to do the live. It's not until a few days ago. And feeling into that today, you know, when we think of Friday the 13th, because of whatever views around us, it can be seen as a very unlucky day. It can be seen through the eyes of superstition. And despite it being linked to the goddess, despite it being linked to the feminine, despite it being linked to, well, how we connect and link to those aspects. And I've been really sensing into that today, and sensing into the notion of superstition itself, and what may be behind the things that we believe. More importantly, what we're connecting to behind those beliefs. So it's one thing to have symbolism. It's one thing, I'm trying to move the incense, but it's just going everywhere. Smoke signals up in front of the screen. It's one thing to have symbolism, it's one thing to have a connection, it's one thing to have an awareness. But unless we feel as if we're in a safe space to interpret that awareness, we can only do so from the level that we're at, whatever's going on for us. I was having a beautiful conversation with some dear friends of mine today, and really acknowledging that when our mind isn't in a balanced state, what can be quite a humorous story can actually become a warning. And also what can be a sign or a synchronicity can become almost a curse or a threat. So why does that matter? Well, from that notion, if we don't have the awareness of what we're connecting to and from where, we start to fear our intuition. Not just the tarot, that's one side of it. Not just our healing ability, but also our very connection to whatever it is we believe in. Whether that's source, whether that's God, whether that's tarot, whether that's the belief of nothing, we start to really wobble in that belief, depending on what level we believe in it from. So it can be really, really important to seek out why we want the answers that we do. It can be really important to acknowledge that we're going to see them from different perspectives. And then really important to recognize that there's always choice. And that's what happens with the tarot. So with the tarot, when I read with the tarot, it's no judgment on how anyone else does it. When I read with the tarot, unless I'm really guided and nagged most of the time, it's not really about predicting the future per se, as in just me predicting the future. It's a source of information that is given based on where you may be, and if it relates an opportunity to put in place any steps that are required, not necessarily always to change the outcome, but to empower you in whatever situations are happening. Sometimes we can change the outcome. Sometimes we can do a reading and see in that reading that, okay, we're eating fatty food, we're smoking like a chimney, we're drinking like a fish, and I don't know if fish drink, but whatever, drinking lots, and in our near future, based on that, our health is going to take a whack. So that is an opportunity then to do something about that, to look at our diet, to look at how we treat ourselves, and to put those steps in place. And that's really the more, for me personally, embodied way of working with the tarot, or working with any of these signs, symbolisms, superstitions. An opportunity to start looking at what habits we build and where we build them from, so that we can facilitate whatever it is we're trying to change for ourselves. That's not to say that some things don't come through and they're really very clear, and there may not be much that we can do to change the narrative to fit our own preferences. But what we can do is look at what we need in that situation to go through whatever is coming. In the tarot, there's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. There's no black and white, apart from, you know, things like the priestess with her pillars either side. It's more about uniting it all as part of the one. Okay, so it's not this death card is bad. It can be a sign of rebirth. It can be a sign of change, and in order for that to happen, of course, we have endings. So it's more of a cyclic nature, an ongoing, growing evolution of nature. It is linked to the archetypes, so I can't see anybody here at the moment, so I haven't done any readings as yet because there's no comments. But if you are here and I can't see you, or if you have a question, please put it in the comments box. There are a few questions that I'm going to look at that have been shared already, but after that it will be on a first come first serve basis. So the tarot are also linked to archetypes, so they're linked to stories that are woven within our consciousness, and sometimes we're not even aware of them. So sometimes we can be very much we can be sacrificial in our behaviors, and we can link that to the Hanged Man. And even with the tarot themselves, we can see all these different perspectives. Superstition, with our lessons, with our healings, with however we choose to see things, we can see them from so many angles. But there comes a point where we take ourselves off of the tree, where we take ourselves out of this space of observing things, and we put things into action. So when I read the tarot, I liken it very much to the medicine wheel. We go into a space of the unknown. Things come to light, any healing or any emotions or anything that needs to shift, any stories that need to be shed, then come to view, giving us the opportunity to do so if we wish to in our actions. Okay, so yes, looking back on it a few days ago, the tarot is an incredibly coaching tool. This isn't something I didn't already know, but I'd kind of lost sight of that. And that can happen when we get very caught up in our stories. So today, on Friday the 13th, it's a great opportunity to really feel into our own magical connection, whatever that may be, but also acknowledging any stories, particularly as we lead into the Pisces full moon, any stories that relate to how we connect to our own psyche, to our own intuitive wisdom, to our own healing abilities, to our own feminine, and what actions are happening, or perhaps for some not happening, as a result of that. And there is no judgment there. As I say, there's no judgment in tarot. Well, there's one card. And actually, sometimes it's important to acknowledge that there are moments when whatever values or morals or deep foundational beliefs are within us are there to call us out. They're there to call a situation out. So, you know, we try not to have any judgments, but even that's a judgment on judgment itself. So if there's something that is really narking you and you think, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z, the tarot can be used to really help you look at perhaps why you may still be doing that and steps forward in order to shift that. So I can't see any comments at the moment, so I'm going to just click onto Messenger and look at the people that wanted a reading. So the first person that contacted me was somebody called Dave. Okay, it says something about the frame rate is too low. So just feeling into that. For me personally, everything has the potential to be a sign and to be something to be read into, and that feels really important, Dave, to be aware of that. You haven't actually asked for a question, you've just said a card in general. Focusing and reframing what it is you want to know is going to be quite pivotal in the next few weeks for you, and I really feel that in the root chakra. Acknowledging that yes, we can get these signs, synchronicities, messages, intuitive insights from many different angles, but what one thing is going to take you forward? How can you reframe all of this information into steps that can actually take you forward? Underneath we have the Queen of Pentacles for you, and it is about connecting to your feminine, but looking at what that means. What does the feminine mean for you, Dave? So really feeling into your body, really feeling behind. In this card in particular, it's focused on what's behind the feminine, what's behind your intuitive feelings. Again, like that superstition thing, what is it you're connecting to? Is it the story? Is it the actions that are available? Is it fear? Is it a longing, a knowing? What is it you're connecting to? And really reframe that, really hone the feminine here, Dave, because it's that gives you an opportunity to take what you have gained so far forward. And what I see in this card, unlike the normal Queen of Pentacles, is it's not about the money. Even though it may feel as if it's about the money, that is quite secure and comfortable in her lap right now. It's more about get up and do something with all of these insights, with all of these interactions, with all of these messages that have been occurring. Trusting the instinct, trusting your emotions, becoming very grounded in the power that they are, because the other card that's underneath, Dave, facing in almost the other direction, is the Queen of Swords, and there's a real dictatorship going on there with the logical mind. It may be one thing to feel what we want, but the mind wants to make sense of it. And there's almost a bit of conflict there. These two energies can work together, but what we need to do, or rather what you need to do, so important here is to acknowledge this is about you and not others. What you need to do here is to really, really ground into your feminine, and from that space, take this understanding that it's not opening, it's not new, it's very well developed, it just needs nurturing, taking that up and taking that further. I hope that makes sense for you, Dave. Please contact me if you have any questions or anything else that you want to look at with that. So I'm just going to go to the next. Oh, hang on, my computer's a little bit slow here. Okay, Marie, will I move? Okay, when will I move? Okay, so actually the question that you've put here is, will I move? And I've actually put words into your mouth here with when will I move. So it feels quite important to decide, is it about will you move or when you will move? Is there a difference? Yes, because if you were to move right now, it doesn't feel as if it's the right time. But if you're thinking long term in the future, yes, of course, everything moves. What I sense with you is a real flippant, almost humorous energy that's coming in that isn't giving any that isn't giving any answers. That the mind is running away with itself before any firm decisions can be made. And there's the card that has come to the top of the pack here is the Knight of Swords. So it's this mind running away with itself rather than sitting in and feeling with what is going on. Again, a little bit like Dave's, reframing what you feel and what it is you're asking for, rather than letting the mind do it all on its own. And this comes almost from a, not a young energy, but almost like a adolescent type energy here, a need to get on with it and to only rely on yourself and to find the answers and to seek them because they never come to you. And allowing that flow to be backwards and forwards. What I see is the image of children with the pots and the wires. You know, wait for the answer. Put it out there, wait for the answer. And the answer may be flippant, and the acknowledgement, the intuition even may not quite be fully honed, but it's an opportunity here to really look at the question. If you don't like the answer, re-evaluate the question. That's not to say that the answer will change, but if the answer is coming with some confusion, re-evaluate the question. So let's look at that, re-evaluated. Okay. Let's join the energies. Let's go beyond will you move and when will you move to moving in itself. Let's feel into that energy. What comes up when you feel into the energy of movement? Okay, yeah, so there is resistance there. There really is resistance. Straight away, I didn't feel as if I knew what I wanted. There was real resistance there. So you have the Moon card. What I would suggest with this Pisces full moon is to really feel into your own connection to your emotions, to really feel into what is going on for you and what the resistance is to movement, to flow. And it may not be resistance to flow. You may feel as if I'm always moving, I'm always changing, I'm always adapting, I'm always growing. Okay, has it come to you to happen, or are you doing it because it's what you're used to? Are you doing it because it's the done thing? Are you moving when you want to move or because you feel you should? Because underneath you have the King of Cups. So really connecting to the universal flow with the moon, and perhaps some of the more illusionary aspects you may have in regards to what movement means, what change means, what growth means. acknowledging your own cycles, linking them back up to the universe. So maybe doing some kind of ceremony with the moon, maybe connecting to your own cycle, maybe even drinking water and feeling how that shifts things in your body. It's a real emphasis here of connecting to the emotions and how they can bring forth the change, how they can bring forth the movement, and trusting them. There's a lot here about trusting the psyche, trusting your psychic connection, trusting your ability to know when you're going to move. It's almost like getting that moment of trust, and I can really relate to this as well, getting that moment of trust and then questioning it in the action. So there's an emphasis here of feeling like not doing enough, and it's with the King of Cups. Trust your masculine actions here. Trust your masculine. Believe in your ability to flow and surrender, and again I can relate, and let go and go with the natural patterns and cycles of life. Of course you will move, everybody moves. Sometimes the more we try and push something, especially if it's a lot more deeper and hidden than we realize, there's shadow play here. I don't like the word, well, okay, no, let's call it what it is, shadow work here. It's almost like there's no point being soft around you to an extent. Call it for what it is. And what I would suggest is to use the same principles with yourself. I hope that helps. Okay, so we have one more in the messenger, and then if there's no more messages, what I'll do is just a reading for today, or whatever wants to come through. Again, my computer is so slow here. Okay, so we have the last one, which is a message question. Message and question. There's some discrepancy there, from Claire, and Claire is, I need my glasses on. Okay, so Claire's question is about love. And it feels really important to look at this from a different vision, from a different perspective. Okay, not a different vision. Feels very important. I almost want to put in extra words, and actually it's just important that it's important. And I feel that in the heart, and I feel that in the solar plexus. It's important. It's okay to want something that's important enough as it is. Sometimes we get so caught up in the reasons that we want things. So it feels very valid to recognize that it's not about changing the vision, but our view of it, your view of it. And when I say our view of it, is because obviously with all of these readings, tarot card, with all of these readings, that you may watch this video back whenever you watch it and think, oh gosh, yeah, that's just relatable to me. I can really recognize that, And there is collective energy. We can relate to things. However, being very discerning what we relate to is actually for us. So feeling into that, it's not about changing the vision, the hopes, the dreams, but our perspective of it, or rather, Claire, your perspective of it. Where do you see yourself in this? Are you willing to surrender, to let go, to free fall even? We have the Tower card at the bottom of the pack, and what's different with this Tower card is actually I feel a need to pause. I wanted to rush in and examine what was different. What's different about this? Is it worth my time? That's really how I felt. So what is different about this card in particular, because it's the new vision, is you have the tree here, the tree of temptation, the tree of life, the tree of healing, the fruits of labor, the temptation, the very thing that attracted us to the vision in the first place here. And only by leaving structures, by leaving what we thought we knew, by surrendering, almost moving away from the need to transform things and just free fall into life and experience it for what it is, can we find the joy, the juiciness, the fruit, if you will, of everything that has been grown. And again, for you, Claire, underneath that is the Six of Pentacles, and it is about that balance. It is about, this is what I'm willing to put in, this is what I'm willing to receive as well. There I can sense blocks around that, and it feels really important to be aware of them, to acknowledge that that can be enough, to pause, to allow them to heal in their own time. The snake is going up the tree there. It knows what it's doing. Your body knows what to do to heal. It feels very sacred that the heart is allowed to take its time, because it's not about building a relationship of love with external people. It's about reharmonizing, healing, reuniting with the heart itself. I almost want to pull another card because it feels very unstructured, like there needs to be a step forward. And I can almost feel it like tapping on my head, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Have you done EFT? Have you done tapping? What I might do actually in the group is put a session out next week. This tapping, this overthinking, this needing a step, this needing a structure, this needing protection and safety has come from pain, and all the time that becomes the very thing that we search for. What is actually guiding what we're manifesting is the pain. It feels really important to flip the perspective of that and to move forward, not with the wound, it's a classic that I say, but with the medicine. So what have you learned about love, about your ability to love, about who you are in relationships, what you bring to the table? That feels really, really important. Otherwise, that feels like the turning point, because once you realize your own value, once you realize your own worth, once you realize the experience that you have in love, what you've gained, what you've learned about yourself, what you then bring to the table, what you expect back will be changed, not in what you get. People have to learn, people have to have their own experiences, right? We would love everyone to be the same as what we are, or not, as the case may be, but that isn't the case. So it's not that what you get may necessarily change, but your perspective of it will. So you won't need that in the way that you did. This almost codependent relationship won't ever go. We're all codependent to an extent. We will have those moments, but it will be more balanced out, or at least you will be more aware of it. And from that perspective, then what you're asking for is genuinely something you are unable to provide for yourself, which means there'll be less resentment, less bitterness there, less pain there. And that will actually be the tower moment. That will be what you're doing is you're leaving all of those things that need healing now. You're putting them into action in your actual ability to love yourself and then others by recognizing what you have discovered so far. It does feel new ground. It does feel a little bit confusing. It does feel a little bit, oh, I need a step forward. Okay, so the step forward. Let's have a look. We're going to use this deck. How the step forward is to help you remain in that energy, to help you acknowledge, like it is with us all, to acknowledge your worth and remain in balance and harmony with who you are. So what step? Shine your light, yeah? Put yourself, the Ace of Wands is underneath, put yourself at center stage. By how? By seeing yourself as you are. This new beginning, by giving yourself permission to see beyond what you've been through, to see beyond the pain and look at the experiences and bring that forward. Shine your light. Yes, my goodness, you've learned a lot, and you know, through it all your heart has remained open. Allow that to be the beacon, not for anybody else, for yourself. And once you see that more, a step. Okay, I've got a step for you. In the mirror every morning, stand there for a good 5 minutes and tell yourself all the amazing, wonderful things about you, all the things that you love, all the things that make you magical and unique. And I hope, hi Alan, thank you, thank you very much. And I hope that you find the day that it's a little bit less cringy every single time. I hope that helps. So Alan, you're the only person here. Oh, I'm just going to take on board your comment, because that's really, really lovely. Would you like a card? Have you got a question? I'm going to hang around for another 6 minutes or so, because I set the intention to finish at 1:30. So if you would please let me know what that is. My internet is a bit slow, so I do apologise if you've already done it. Oh, you're there as well, Liv. Sorry, my love. I didn't see. Yeah, my internet's a little bit slow. I didn't see you, which is interesting. If you have a question, bung it in the comments, okay? And I shall pull a card for you. I hope you're both having a lovely Friday the 13th. It's been an interesting one. I have a lot of friends that are meeting up with magical people today, and I kind of thought, well, where's my meet up? But actually I was in the vets with my dog today and saw 2 black cats, 2 black kittens. So yeah, I think there's something going on there for me just to embrace my own little bit of magic and feminine. Right, I don't see, here we are. Love a card, please, lovely. What do the cards want me to know? Oh, okay. So there's a lot of humour. I feel a lot of humour around you, Alan, but I also feel a lot of patience. And I wouldn't say the patience is wearing thin, but humour can only get us so far. Yeah? The cards want you to know what you want to know. And we have to trust the process. We have to trust the process. I almost feel as if I could end up down a rabbit hole here if I'm not careful. So yeah, really, really important to keep connecting back higher. Okay, what do the cards want Alan to know? So you have the 3 of Cups and the 5 of Swords, and as I'm looking at the cards, I'm also looking at a picture above me, and there's a hand reaching out, and it's called Abundance. And what I'm feeling is ask. Ask for what you want as well. Yeah, it's great. You are completely of service, and that is absolutely beautiful. But again, it's that 6 of Pentacles type energy. Ask for what you want as well. Now with the 5 of Swords here, there's like a mentality of, I don't know what I want. I thought I knew what I wanted. I'm not sure what I want now. And that's because it's based, the 3 of Cups, it's based on what once made you happy. The 5 of Swords is saying mentally you've grown. Things have changed. Your connection has changed. Who you are has changed. And I really feel that in my root chakra, like, oh, but actually there was safety with what I knew. Yes, 100%. But if you're willing to let the cards tell you what they want you to know, then you're ready. You're ready to embrace this next stage here, even if mentally it may not feel like you are. But it is going to be different from what it was, because what we have is a great foundation, but eventually as we grow, what we need to sustain us grows too, and being okay with that, because there's a version here beyond this mental block. There's a version here beyond this, I'm not quite sure. You tell me, universe. I'll just do whatever you need me to do. There's a version here, yeah, behind that has its arms open, that says, fantastic. Not only am I of service, I am part of that service. I am a valid member of the team. Here, that you have the 3 energies here. It is the feminine energy, and it is very much about your ability to create, but recognizing that celebration, that birth has to come from you acknowledging your place in this team also. Because the other card, you have the Sun card underneath, but the other card here is the 2 of Pentacles. Yes, they can tell you, what are you going to do with it? Okay, they want you involved. They really want you involved. So that means, what do I need? What do I need then to step up and be involved? And being 100% honest with that, embracing that for part of the light that it is. Okay, part of the radiance that you shine. In order to receive it, you have to recognize it. In order to recognize it, you have to acknowledge what you need to step into it. And the last one that I'm going to pull for you, of course, Temperance, the angelic energy. How often are you connecting to that? How often are you connecting to that from the level of your own worth? We can really try to connect, and I can take this on board myself. So I hear you, I see you. We can really try and connect to the angelic energy, but it can almost be like a mental thing. This comes from the heart, and it comes from a space of recognizing your own vibration. And I'm feeling a real resistance to it, so I'm going to say it, that you are of that vibration in potential also. And I have to add the potential bit, because you're not quite there yet in your ability to receive that truth, and that's okay. One step at a time, moving away from the 10 of Swords, anything that makes you feel like you're not ready for that, because the truth is you're already doing it. It's just down to you to see it. I hope that helps. That's a bit. Liv, would you like a card, my love? Would you like any questions? answered for you. I can't see a message here, so I'll just give it a few moments, and if not, you can always contact me after for any questions that oh, you could have, yes, you can have a card. Have you got any questions or just a card? Oh. Don't give her too many options. That's what don't give her too many options. Thank you. I've spirit shivers now. I can really take all of those. Lovely. They totally fit my current situation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alan, for turning up. Thank you for, yeah, receiving that, for putting yourself out there, for asking the question. And as you know, it all relates to everybody as well. So thank you for that. Although I'm being made very mindful that that was your reading, and for you to receive what's for you. So thank you too. Right, Liv. Not too many options. Don't give her too many options. Recognizing there are moments in life where it feels strict and routine and very structured and almost limiting, but what that does is fine tune and hone you. Okay, it's not that things are being taken away, but oh, you have the most incredible energy here, but it's kind of darted everywhere. So bringing it back home by removing some of the options is going to give you the clarity that you seek. Okay, so let's look. Mainly future and job relations. So I'm not sure if I want to stay in this line of work. Okay. So obviously, as you know, having had readings with me before, I'm not going to tell you whether or not to stay in your line of work, but we're going to feel into the energy of your current job and whatever is going on for you. That feels very valid, to not be told what to do. You couldn't rate it, but you can. You have the, oh, there's two that want to come up here. Okay. You have the Seven of Wands here, and what you can see is this person that's defending themselves constantly defending themselves from what looks like quite damaging conditions below them. Okay, having to do this because it's not working. Things aren't right here, and there is a space of endurance here. You've had to stand in who you are and what you want for some time, and it can almost feel quite tiring, but straight underneath is the Wheel of Fortune. There is change here, and it's not so much about the job that you have, but the person that you are in that job. The constant fight to be who you are is that needs to be changed here, and the card underneath it is the High Priestess. Recognizing your own wisdom, recognizing your own intuition, feeling what's right for you. And I can almost feel my heart drawing me down into the ground. Acknowledging that voice that may not fit in with what everyone else expects, that may not fit in with the narrative, that may not even make sense, but acknowledging that voice for almost like this inner journey that is going on here. It isn't about the job per se, it is about your worth, and having to defend that all the time. There is change available here with the Wheel of Fortune, and it all comes from, I was going to say it all comes from the heart, but actually you have the Ace of Pentacles as well. So the Ace of Cups here, opening yourself up to what you deserve, opening yourself up to what makes you feel good, what makes your heart sing, what makes you like the person that you are. If that isn't this job, then there is your answer. Okay, and underneath it, yes, the Ace of Pentacles here. There is a need for a new financial perspective here, or at least a different way of seeing finances, no different way of seeing abundance and worth. Of course, money is important. That's not to say money isn't important, but at what cost? And it feels like it's that's actually being defended. So when you get up in the morning, does it make you want to go into work? Does it give you that drive? Does it give you that love? Does it give you that hope, that calling, that joy? If not, I'm not saying leave your job. What can you do to help that? At the end of the day, it's a job, Liv. At the end of the day, there's a concern there of having to defend what's right for you and your heart. So what do you need to help you not have to keep doing that, so that you stand in your own truth? And when we do that, it doesn't need defending, right? So an action. Let's have an action. Ten of Wands and the Sun card. Walk away from anything that is taking you out of your light, your joy, your innocence and your fun. I would suggest going to connect with horses as well. What we have for the Ten of Wands here is in the background the ancestors, how they've always done it, or how you've always done it, and things change. things change. You want something to guide you, let the joy of it, let the light of it, let the innocence and curiosity of it all guide you. If not, walk away. I hope that helps. I'll just wait to see if there's any comments, and then I shall finish today's True, I resonate with this. Well, you both know where I am, and anyone that's watching this on playback or whatever, you know where I am. So if you want any guidance or whatever, please feel free to contact me. And I'm thinking about doing a lot more online with using some of the tools to help. It's one thing to say walk away, right? But using some of the tools to help us cope with all those things that come up when we dare to follow our heart. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to do some evening stuff as well, and I'm going to hopefully be here next Friday too. So I'll be very intrigued to see how that advice has perhaps helped you move towards the direction that's right for you both. Have a wonderful, wonderful Friday the 13th. Yeah, and really looking at, as I said at the beginning of this video, you need to draw a card for yourself too. I do every day, but thank you. Really looking into what stories now perhaps have become more superstitious habits than true, genuine guidance forward. Have the most beautiful day, and I'll speak to you hopefully both at one point. Take care.